This episode is supported by NC Idea. More on them later.
Don't put so much emphasis on what you think the world thinks you're supposed to be able to have something that you know is going to be impactful. If you're trying to be an influencer, that's one thing. A lot of people are stuck on being an influencer, but I'm trying to influence the bag. You know what I'm saying?
Hey everyone, welcome to Honey and Hustle. I am your host, Angela Hollowell, and today I'm speaking with Dr. Evinerlean Blakney. She has many things and wears many hats. She's a keynote speaker, a fellow podcaster, and the founder of multiple businesses. By the end of this episode, you will learn how this first-generation college graduate became the serial entrepreneur that she is today. Thanks so much for joining us today. This podcast is free and will always be free and available on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Good Pods, Hey Time, you name it. While it's free for you to consume, it's not free for us to create. We pay our video editors, writers, production assistant, and operations manager for helping us make this show come to life. If you'd like to support us in making this show, please consider subscribing to our Substack community, using our affiliate links, or just simply sharing the show with someone who might enjoy it. All right, let's get into this conversation. Sometimes we launch things and they kind of flop. Mm-hmm. And it's not because the thing wasn't good, it just meant you probably didn't have the audience size yet, mm-hmm. and you weren't ready. So you didn't know how to get it in front of the people that would care. The other half of that, you said something about it's different when you're starting a business and you know nobody. And then if you're the popular person. So if you have a big following already and then you launch something, the likelihood of success, especially startup success, that initial success, so much greater, right? And being in college, I started between undergrad and graduate. This is my first business. And I saw other people who were photographers who maybe they were good, maybe they weren't, but they were, maybe they were in a sorority or a fraternity, or maybe they were really popular or something like that. And it felt like they were getting a lot of business really fast. When they announced it, it was just popping off.
I'm going to do it. Let's do that.
You know? And so, it took me a little bit longer, right? But also I'm still here and they're not. Mm-hmm. And I think when you were saying, when you first started, people are giving you feedback, maybe you should change this, maybe you should try that, maybe, it would be more lucrative if you did this. I think there's something to the fact when you start and you have people who are honest with you. And I think that's harder to get when you're already big, because people feel like they can't criticize you. Mm-hmm. And that is not good.
Not at all.
You need honest, constructive criticism. Mm-hmm. Whether or not you agree with it, whole other thing, but you need people to be honest with you and get that feedback, because when it is time and when you do learn from those mistakes of failing early, failing fast, keeping it moving, keeping it going, when you do launch something else, then you have all these lessons that put through it, right? When you launched the supplier business, you had all these lessons, you had all these connections, and it was a completely different story, right?
Very much so.
But you wouldn't have gotten there if you didn't have the feedback of people being honest with you about what they needed, right? So I would love to hear your opinion on people who are starting now and they're saying, well, I'm from a small town, a first generation person, or, maybe I did have a person in my family that went to college, but, we don't really keep in touch. Mm-hmm. They have a regular job. They're not really, an entrepreneur or whatever. I want to start off a small audience. I don't think I'm big enough to make something that's impactful.
You don't have to be big for it to be impactful, though, yeah? You have to define what that is for yourself.
Yeah.
Because I didn't start off with the platform I have. Mm-hmm. And then we've grown up in the age of social media where it's been years.
Yeah.
And I'm still not where I would want to be, but I'm the other thing is we talk about a target audience.
Yeah.
Customers, B2C ended up not even really being my thing.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when you may put your focus on having 1,000, 2,000 customers, you may only need 100 to achieve your goal.
Yeah.
And those 100 people, not even on social media.
No.
So it's the learning. Yeah. It's the paying attention, right? It's the, what am I doing anyway and who needs it? And do I have to be big, or can I just create a quality product or give a quality service and still do meaningful work?
Yeah.
I think there's so much pressure to show up in social media as a speaker. Yeah, I've needed to do that.
Yeah.
I've needed to, right? Yeah. I've had to. Again, somebody told me early on, you're way ahead of your time. And I know I'm not doing financial literacy. I'm not doing leadership. I'm not doing several things that will be, again, for institutions far more lucrative.
Yeah.
I knew that. Yeah. But I'm going to take my chance. But they catching up, though, right? Not trying to be like, so it's like, I'm not worried because y'all coming. I see what's happening. But I've established myself so that as these institutions continue to get these grants, these foundations are happening, these funds they're increasing. There's a chapter in my sorority in New York that just did $1 million endowment for first generation students at that institution.
That's good.
You know?
Yeah.
They weren't there. The first gen thing is still new.
Yeah.
And outside of the spaces that were initially created, right? But to that point, is being able to be, what's the word for it, what I'm thinking for it? Ready. But knowing where you need to be ready. Yeah. You mentioned to me getting here and going to all the networking events, getting to know people, getting to know your ideal customer, right? Did you need a big following for that? You showed up. Yeah. Sometimes you got to show up. But what does showing up look like? If you're trying to be an influencer, that's one thing. And a lot of people are stuck on being an influencer, but I'm trying to influence the bag. You know what I'm saying? And that bag ain't always sitting there on Instagram, hardly on Facebook, it ain't on Twitter. And so that's why I'm having also to learn and to lean into like accepting. I don't have to have a huge name because the government right now, they want to know that the product is good. Yeah. They don't give a damn about my Instagram. No. They're not checking for my LinkedIn that I'm aware, right? I mean, I don't know, maybe, but did she deliver? Is this on time? Is this quality? Did this fit our budget? I know many millionaires. Well, I don't say I know of, but I know a few. Me and as myself, 100 people follow them on social media. They low key.
And they post once a year.
If they get their year in, right? But traveling all over the world, doing all kind of things. So don't put so much emphasis on what you think the world thinks you're supposed to be able to have something that you know is going to be impactful, meaningful, and necessary. Yeah. But it's really going back to a question you asked earlier, knowing your target audience. And I stopped giving myself hell about building an Instagram or doing a big thing on a social media because my clients were on LinkedIn. My clients were in Facebook groups, right? Who they were, what circles they were hanging, what conferences were they were at. Sometimes it's not a social media thing for you, it's just being at a conference, sponsoring an event, going in and to stand up at an event and say, hey, I'm here, right? Yeah. You're never too small, never too big either, right? But do you know who you're serving? And if you don't know who you're serving, that's going to be the problem because you're going to be trying to serve them wrong. Yeah. And so leaning into that is what's really going to make the difference. Because if it's something in you, and I know you understand, and I never thought I had 2 companies, 2 corporations. And I say that because it's like I had to learn that. Yeah. But it's been years, Angela. Yeah. It's been years. And I'm finally at a stage where I'm like, well, I love this, but I want to pivot because I have multimillionaire in my brain. And what I'm doing specifically in speaking right now, that it's not going to get me there. Yeah. It can get me to a strong 6 figures. Yeah. But it's not going to get me to that million. Right. So what you want to do? Yeah, and you got to be honest with yourself about stuff like that too. Facts and facts. Like at first, when I first started, like I said, I was just happy to be in the game. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't really thinking long term until I graduated from my master's. And I was like, okay, like, what are we about to do? Like, are we going to keep playing this charade, playing it small, or are we going to actually start dreaming big and working towards some big goals? Scary things, yeah.
Yeah, and like that also. I sat down with an accountant. They said, how much you plan on making next year? I said, huh? You think I'm already supposed to know that? Next year ain't come yet. They said,
gotta project.
Yeah.
You gotta know.
I got it. Yeah. And so that started, he's like, okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to work on some projections, going to work on your budget, make sure you make it enough to cover that budget, pay yourself, have some for taxes. Like, We need to start thinking about what it really means
How
to
your
have a
business
business.
going to look like, who you're going to hire for, all kinds of things.
Yeah, like
So
what do you
much.
actually need? Because I done made some hires that I didn't actually need.
Yeah.
But I thought I needed because I was on social media and I thought that's what I was supposed to do.
Yeah,
That's why, you can't really listen to social media. Social media, they're having messed up.
Listen to the right one. Listen to the right one, yeah.
Numbers ain't always right, what I'm saying? So I mean, like, it's just such a critical conversation to have.
Yeah.
Because I think, there's definitely a discourse that maybe I'm actively trying to dispel, which is that you need to have it all together. You need to have a big following, even though I do post on social media very often. But, you need to have all your ducks in a row for it to be successful. You need to have one clear thing that you're doing for it to be successful. And, obviously, yes, we're highlighting business owners, but a lot of them, they didn't have 2 or 3 things that weren't successful.
Yeah.
They didn't have one thing that's more successful than the other one.
Absolutely.
They didn't have, some things that maybe they thought they needed to be bigger, but they just couldn't get them bigger because it wasn't the right time. Or so many things that, happen behind the scenes that we just don't talk about. Like hearing no and not liking that feeling and then keeping going anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Because that sucks.
Yeah, it's not fun.
And you're going to have to get used to no.
Yeah.
You're going to have to. But they say chase your no so that you can get to your yes. But then once you get to your yeses, sometimes you're going to have to say no. Because for me...
And that's happened.
But that's what's happened with me. Like, even as a speaker, when I realized, like, you got the juice, girl. At some point I realized, like, yeah, you really... I know I was made for it.
Yeah.
I know that I was born for it. I know that I live and breathe and exist to speak. But I wanted to help my people, right? But then I'm also like... And sometimes that conversion didn't convert well, Yeah. And then budgets for the goals I have financially and what, they'll say, well, set your budget here and do this and look at this. And I'm going to be working every single day of the year, to get to this. And so it's like, I'm not going to go beyond this ceiling.
Yeah.
I'm just not like, I can do 15, 20, 30 engagements, but I'm not going to hit this thing that I'm trying to hit.
Yeah.
I'm just not right now, right?
Yeah.
But then you say, well, okay, let me try something different for self-preservation.
Yeah.
Right? Let me try something different.
Yeah.
So that I can be able to be joyful in what I'm doing.
Yeah. Because that's the key, man. Like, I realized that with client work with Rootful. It's like, last year, I made a lot of money, but I ain't taking no days off. You know what I'm saying? And that's just not life. Why? And like, it really came to me where I was just like, okay, like, yeah, I don't work a 9 to 5, but I still like, I'm giving my time away to everybody else. Like, what about making time for my own passion projects?
Yourself, yeah.
Like I've, you can raise your prices, but still, like, there's only so much capacity you're going to have as a person. And it comes time for you to think about too, like, even if you do have a big target audience, like, there's no shortage of people who need video. I get that, but there's only one me too. And I need to also have a life that allows me to like step away from my business and not be freaking out about where my bills are going to come from, or like if I'm missing out on something or whatever. Like, I need to build my business around my life, not the other way around. And so it's like starting to think differently about where income is coming from. And that can also be a hard pill to swallow. It's like you reach this success, but at what cost?
So a few days ago, the conversation I was having with my group of friends was, I'm finally accepting that for me to get where I have to go, I have to leave this group behind. I have to leave this part of the audience, that I thought was going to be it for me.
Yeah.
How do I resolve that? Am I not committed to what I said I was doing? But it's like, no, you just get to serve them different, right? Which we talked about. Yeah. But that no thing, I want to go back to that. One of my mentors said the other day, sometimes your no is a blessing and a door open for somebody else. Yeah. Because how can I say that I know what I'm worth and value? And I'm not doing leadership. Yeah. I refuse to do DEI.
Don't get me started. Please don't.
For real. Yeah. So I could go get a corporate bag and do DEI and be a speaker and be lucrative.
For 3 years. And then they're going to say, well, we did the DEI thing. Thanks. Bye.
and when it was hot, and I had people, I want you to DEI, I said, because that's not true to who I am. And granted, the first gen stuff is very DEI oriented, right? It very much so is, because it's a lot of people first generation are people of color, right? People from low SES backgrounds, low socioeconomic, right? Yeah. So there was something there to be said, but first gen, y'all just not going to talk about Black issues. Y'all not ready for some of these first gen issues. And then I'll be very candid, being that I'm not first generation American. Sometimes I wasn't given that same, and hadn't been, still given that same. I don't have that story, but I am first generation. And then a lot of my peers are realizing, like, we got a lot of the same story. Yeah, because we people of color.
Yeah.
Right? But that no can be somebody else's blessing.
Yeah.
But I know, and if I, here's what I'm going to say too. If I know what you're paying other speakers to come in and do stuff, even if they're men.
Especially if they're men, actually.
And I come back around and I get remotely close and you tell me, no, you ain't got it. Right?
Guess you didn't want it bad enough.
Because I'm not going to let y'all play me.
Yeah.
Right? Love y'all, but I'm not going to let y'all. If y'all will spend thousands and thousands of dollars for these special guests to come to your campus, then you can spend as much for me to come in and help you retain your students.
Respectfully.
And I say this now, not as I'm, talking that shit, right? But I've had to really embrace, like, yo, what is going on?
Yeah.
I left with the tools and knowledge to solve the problems that I know that I know what I paid other people to come in. Mm-hmm. That's where my budget starts.
Yeah.
That's where my rate starts.
Yeah.
I know what's out there.
Yeah.
But you got to do your due diligence.
Yeah.
This conversation is getting good, and trust me, it's only going to get better. But before we go on, I wanted to take a minute to thank our sponsor, NC Idea. NC Idea is an independent, private foundation whose vision is to help North Carolinians achieve their entrepreneurial ambition to start and grow high-potential companies. They have grants, workshops, and an annual summit, all to help advance entrepreneurship and promote equitable economic development. To learn more and apply for grant funding, visit their website at the link in the description or head to ncidea.org. All right, let's get back into this conversation.
I'm a big fan of paid transparency.
Mm-hmm. It needs to happen.
And especially among entrepreneurs, because I think right now, going back to Twitter, actually, even LinkedIn, people be like, yeah, I made 6 figures in 30 days. Let me tell you how I did it. Here are the 10 steps you need to, you know what I'm saying? You gotta love it. You gotta love it. But that's not true paid transparency to me. Because what they're leaving out is how long it took them to get it. Yeah, it may take you 30 days this year. After 10 years.
Yeah. And they just go on to them classes for $2,000. I'm a victim.
I'm a big survivor here. To tell her true story.
But mine paid for itself though. That one I did do though, it paid for itself big time. So yeah.
Okay, good.
But it gives false hope though.
It does, because it's not realistic. And it's just a lot of people, especially, and the reason I asked too about diversification of income is talking about, when people think now about building an online business, right? They're like, all you need is a computer and an internet connection. You could be rich by tomorrow. And it's just like, okay, so let's break this down for a second, because I also, again, and this is me being young, I recognize that my youth is both a strength and part of my naivete, and I had to learn a lot very fast the hard way. Like when I went into full-time entrepreneurship, I knew it was going to be hard, don't get me wrong, but I also knew that, my time was my own. I could dictate how much I made, a little bit more, not a little bit more, a lot more.
a lot more. Yeah, that feels good.
And I knew that I had the potential now to do whatever it is I put my mind to and all that good stuff, all the positive, but what I was, I'm getting on social media, I'm growing my audience, I'm growing my business, and I'm looking at people, next to me, and I'm seeing them post all this stuff, and I'm like, I must be doing something wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like it got to that point where I was like, I'm doing something wrong, and when I took that step back and I got, a full-time, part-time contract that had no end date. So that was my first one, no end date. And I'm actually still with that organization.
Shout out to you.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, I can really kind of predict my income a little bit better now. Shout out to my accountant. And really use this as a base to build upon. Then really step back and stop thinking about what I'm looking at other people doing and what feels right to me. I can do some goal setting now. He's like, when I'm thinking about budget, it's like, well, what do I want to invest in my business, right? Is it gear? I could do that. That's what a lot of the YouTube filmmakers are doing. I can do that. Or I could invest in learning how to tell a better story. I could invest in
networking other people that can help me tell better stories, right? So other filmmakers, other audio people, editors. Shout out to my editors, because y'all gonna have a field day editing this one. And, you know, I could do those types of things. I could save money for those types of people, right? Because that's also, again, when we go back to pay transparency, it's like, okay, this person will say, well, yeah, we made $10,000 working with Microsoft, but we only took home X amount because of taxes, and we paid like 3 people to have on set with us, and we had to pay an editor, and we were still late. So we didn't. When I say pay transparency, like I'm happy to talk with other entrepreneurs about how much I make and be honest about it, because like I feel like there's this false sense of like, if you take this course, if you build your audience to 10,000 followers on whatever platform, then you're going to be super successful, and money's just going to start coming in, and everything's going to be a 10K job or a 10K speaking gig or whatever. And that's just not the reality. It can be, but for most people, it's just not.
I love that you say that though, right? Because when you talk about even like a 10K speaking gig, if I'm giving this to you at this price, how much time and energy went into putting that presentation together, right? If I had to bring a videographer for it, and then the videographer needs to edit, if I got to bring my assistant for it, paying for all my travel, for all my food for it,
how much you bring
the time and energy. And so, and that's the thing. So if you're telling me that you're going to pay me this thing, and I'm saying that's not going to work, and I got to put 25, 30 aside for taxes, I'm already out. I'm already down.
Right.
But nobody can, but it's just you. I'm at the forefront of this because I am the face. But how about the people in the background making it happen? Right? I just didn't get, and then you think about all the conferences, the computer stuff, the software that you have to have, the car stuff. Like,
just maintaining a business is expensive. Even if you don't do nothing else, just maintaining a business is expensive.
And so, but people on the other side want to hear your price. They're like, I can't do that. But I'm like, what I'm trying to get y'all, like, it's so much more to this.
Right.
And then when you hit a certain income threshold, do I need to be taxed differently, right? To even like save what I'm making.
Right.
It's so much to it. And I'm like, but I can't, you don't understand, because all you see is me.
Right.
Right. And that's also not having the entrepreneur mindset or the know-how, because this seems, and who am I to charge you as much as you may make in a couple months? Right.
Yeah.
Corporations, they get it different. For-profit entities, they get it different most of the time. And that's the other thing, non-profit versus for-profit. What a bag at, you know, like
it sucks, but it's the truth.
It is. And so how do you navigate, not that I'm too good at trying to outprice y'all, but also the reality for me, most people not going to meet me here, and I'm going to wear myself the hell out trying to make this much in the end.
Yeah. And then it's like, and this is something that I will say about nonprofits. I really wish, and that's why I have nonprofit founders on the show, because they are business owners, and I really want more people who are starting nonprofits, you know, the executive directors of nonprofits that maybe were already established. Please start thinking more like a business owner, because like
nonprofit though, right?
Yeah.
And it's that mindset. I don't have to. No, you
yes,
should.
You do, actually.
Yeah.
Because if you're not fundraising, if you're not making money, y'all not going to.
Y'all not making.
You know what I'm saying? So you really do need to start thinking about that. And a lot of people watching this show, because we talk about, you know, social impact and stuff like that. You know, I know they want to have that impact, but that also costs money.
Every time.
It costs money to do good things. And, you know, like investing in media. Like, let's say somebody wants to hire you for 10K, and you say, well, I want to bring my video person, you know, I want to bring a photographer. Maybe they're one and the same person, maybe they're not. You know, I need to get my assistant on all the logistics. I need to pay for travel. And they say, well, you know, we'll foot the travel. We'll foot the videographer. You know, we'll have somebody on our end that's going to video the whole event. We'll make sure you get stuff. Well, you know, we'll take care of your travel. Just let us know when you want to come in, when you want to leave. We got a hotel with, you know, a block of rooms. We'll get you in. That makes a big difference too. And I think what I also learned about negotiating price, especially as a Black woman.
Especially as a Black woman, come on now.
Learn how to ask for stuff.
Always.
Because I guarantee somebody else is.
Always.
And you're going to be sad if they get it and you don't, because you didn't ask.
May I?
Yes.
Had an opportunity about 2 years ago now. Reached out to a couple people. Hey, we love you to come in and do this thing for this organization. I was like, oh my God. Like, I mean, I was like, did I read that right? Am I tripping right now? I'm talking about world know organization, right? And the lady gets back with me and she says, hey, you know, just want to let you know that we aren't going to be moving forward with you, but I do want to stay in touch with you. She was like, and let me tell you something else. You came in with the lowest price. Black woman talking to me. my price for me was high. It was high for me.
Yeah.
The person they hired to come in to do a 1.5, 2 hour appearance and to deliver an award, $25,000.
Yeah.
I was about half that, right? She said, you were the lowest. We had 40, we had 30, we had this, but we ended up going with somebody who we did have some experience with in the past. Yeah. And I was like, just to show up and present a damn award?
Yeah.
She's like, I'm sorry. She was like, listen, I found you. I know that you're brilliant. Sis, charge what you worth. She was like, and it needs to start at least here. That's what I'm going to say. She said, it needs to scare you.
Yeah.
People are and then it was I believe a black man who ended up, understand that. I ain't hating, right? Because they had a whole thing that it worked out.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, that was so much money that I asked for.
Yeah.
There's more. There's more.
Yeah.
But when you are working in some spaces, you're made to believe that, no, there is more. We don't have it. We can't give it to you.
Yeah.
It's not there. And then you send something off for a couple thousand to somebody, and a couple even, that's too much. And then you work with a law firm. Yeah. And you send them something that's like $10,000, and they're like, that's it? Oh. What you mean that's it?
Right? Like the biggest thing I've ever billed for, and the way that I started billing, in the last year and a half, is I'll ask for half up front.
Okay.
Instead of 25% up front.
Got you. Okay.
And
I've had to learn that recently, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I'll ask for half up front. And the biggest one, contract I've ever sent, paid the same day. Done. I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what? Didn't blink an eye. Yeah, can't wait to start working with you. Half is paid. Don't worry about it. Okay.
It changes you.
Yeah, and it's scary.
It changes you.
It's scary.
Changes
and I'm like, shoot, if I know you're going to pay that easy, I should ask for some more.
Right?
I should ask for some more.
But it makes you, and again, it's, because I said it earlier, I'm leaving people behind, right?
Yeah.
That guilt.
But here's my thing. There's always going to be competition at the bottom. You don't always want to be at the bottom. There ain't no competition at 25K. Very few people. Very few people. You hear what they said?
No, you're talking top, right?
We had experience working with this person because ain't nobody else in that price range for real. Mm-hmm. When you have your expertise and you can charge more for it, charge more for it.
All the time.
Yeah.
But I put in the work. I've done the training. I'm going to the conferences. I'm doing the things. I'm on the committees.
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But then the going back to the audience piece, but sometimes they just really not there.
Yeah. But there's always going to be somebody else there for them.
And so your I can't becomes an opportunity for somebody. Like, I think maybe if it were sometime part-time, because there are very few people who even started in what I'm doing and who are successfully doing it full-time. Yeah. Say how you manage. Well, one, I've had a husband who has helped, right, to just be straight up. And I'm able to still figure some things out and grow and learn and whatever else. Yeah. But then my situation recently has been very different. I got to figure it out all on my own. Yeah. But even with that, what's next for me? Because again, I keep seeing, in spite of all the things I'm changing and trying and doing, I'm still not getting where I want to go with this.
Right.
I like working with people who don't expect a discount from me.
Right.
People who get online with them credit, because I know what you're talking about, and you be like, what the hell? Did I just? And I remember one day I got an order and I was like, yo, son.
Yeah.
Just bought it outright.
Yeah.
Just bought it out when I was like, hey, I just want to, can you send us this?
Yeah. Let's talk about pricing for a second. Let's just go ahead and get into it. So one thing I have had to get creative about asking is, what's your budget? My favorite meme is like, the person's like, what's your budget? And they're like, what's your rate? And they're just trying to get you to say something less than what their budget is so they can say yes. But I had to, especially with new clients, because I'm like, okay. Or if they don't want to tell me, they're like, oh, we don't know. I'll say, well, have you invested in this in the past?
That's a good one. Yeah.
And then they'll say, yeah. And I say, well, how much did you pay for it in the past? Did you get what you paid for? Because if they didn't and they paid a lot of money, well, you can pay me more money and get this and more. You know what I'm saying? And it works. And I think too, especially, when people try to say, oh, we don't really have the budget. And then just something that I started doing very early on was how can I create a package or create an offering and then leave space for myself to over deliver? Because I've also found that people ask for something and you'll say, yeah, we can do that. But we can also do this and this. And people will pay for the extra.
They will.
All of a sudden, the budget don't matter if you got something that they want.
The convenience.
Right.
Yeah, the convenience is strong.
Yeah.
The convenience is real strong.
And I think, too, again, going back to, like, ask for what you want. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, you know what it costs for you to create something. And you know what the benefit of it is for somebody who's asking for something. Once you hit the 5,000, 10,000 plus mark, you got to know that they know what they want. You got to know that they know what that investment is worth
Absolutely.
to them.
Every time.
And so you got to think about it from that point. And I think, too, I wish I didn't have to keep saying this, but if I still am having people in my inbox saying, like, I want to make more money, how do I ask for more money? How do I leave clients previous? Like,
yeah,
you know that the conversations aren't being had.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But it's hard too, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm leaving. I can't. And I've had this, but they won't be served. No, somebody's going to serve them.
Yeah.
Right? There's still people who are coming to the scene, doing things, speaking. And again, there's programs like in the first gen space growing like wildfire that are there.
Yeah.
But right now they don't have it, right?
Yeah.
I had to own that. But somebody told me, you way ahead of your time, right? And I heard it, but I'm going to blaze this trail, but I blazed it.
Yeah.
And now I'm just kind of slowly but surely said, like, reaping the harvest. Yeah. But in asking for what I need, for what I want, talking to people, right? What you get for that? What you do for that?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, you got 25 for that?
Oh, I love asking men what they got for stuff.
They wouldn't even try to come up off of 5.
No.
I'm going to say it here. I think this is the first time I'm going to say it out loud out of my mouth.
I'm sorry.
When Black women are hiring me, I got you. If they got it, I got you. You know what you worth. If a Black woman is hiring me and she works for a Black man or anybody else, or if there's anybody other than a Black woman in the years that I've been in it for years, I've talked to and met so many people.
Yeah.
Their challenges, their issues. I used to say to somebody, and I may have said it on my podcast once, I knew if I was going to get the job by who showed up on the call. And if they had the final say so.
Yeah.
Well, a Black woman, almost every single time, I got you, done. Okay, I don't have the money right now. Let me get in touch with a couple other departments. Yeah. And see if we can bring it together, because I'm going to pay you what you say you're worth. Anybody, can you change your fee? Can you do this? Can you do that?
That's interesting.
But I've overpriced was it overpricing myself because of my lack of knowledge? I had mentors. And these mentors were telling me what they were making. Yeah. And I'm seeing them make it. Now, granted, different departments have different things, right? I get that too. So I wasn't a failure in that. But I'm watching people, men who getting it. Yeah. So what happened with me? Yeah. Right? But I don't feel regretful. Yeah. Because the people who do show up and drop that, they drop it. They make it rain. They make it rain. And I'm like, but you deserve it though. Yeah. But that also goes to who do you think you are? Yeah. Right? And it makes you question, am I not enough? But now I'm like, no, I'm going to ask for this, and I'm asking for this, and I'm bringing this. I negotiate because I feel like it. Oh, this is too high. It's not too high. Because what I'm doing, if you retain even 3-4 students, you paid for me. Yeah. You're going to do far more than that. And value. Yeah. I want to go where I'm valued. Yeah. If the private institutions, typically the Ivies, the Ivy selectives, are going to say, thank you, we can make it happen. I'm not even leaving y'all behind by like, oh, I'm fool with y'all. I'm here to help. Yeah. But how can we make this work so everybody is taken care of? Yeah. But why should I have to suffer to help? Something my mentor also says, I don't think that I need to suffer just because I want to do good work. That I have to struggle.
Nonprofits, listen up.
Just because I want to do good work. Yeah. Right? And I understand a lot of institutions are not-for-profit. Yeah. But I can't reconcile seeing some of the people who you will bring in and how you will find money for it. You make priority what you want to make priority. Yeah. And I think that, again, I'm not bashing against downing, where I've been, because it's got me where I am now. Yeah. And it forced me to have to take a good look at myself and say, that multi-million-dollar goal you got is not going to happen like this. This is not. But again, it's like, well, okay, what's next? Yeah. But now I can serve every institution,
Yeah.
right? Now I can serve for-profit and not-for-profit, community college or not. I can register to be a vendor. I can do y'all shirts. I can do y'all promotional things, and I'm still serving students.
Yeah.
So that question you asked me earlier, I'm still serving students, but I've made it harder for you to say no.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm doing something impactful.
Yeah.
And I'm targeting first-gen programs. So yeah, now $1,000, $2,000 works well for what you're doing.
Yeah.
But I'm also not feeling devalued myself.
Right.
Because I've done the work.
Yeah.
I've done the work. So I think it's the pricing thing, asking for what you want. The worst people can tell you was no.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, I want to find who's telling me yes.
Yeah.
Because the vendors list that I'm on now, which I can't name right now, but the ones I'm on now.
Yeah. Yeah. When a Black woman give you this look right here, just know the look is anointed, okay?
I'm going to say this. The game to change. Within a 4-month time span at this point now, within a 4-month time span, the people whose list I've got, who I've met
Yeah.
for state entities,
Yeah.
right? For a Fortune 100 tech company, right? And you were looking for me,
Yeah.
and I'm not having to beg, kick, scream.
Yeah.
I got what you need, and it's good. And my customer service, amazing.
Yeah.
Delivery, follow-up, quality, right? It feels like a breath of fresh air because I get to show up in my still greatness.
Yeah.
Even in my lounge pants and my hoodie at the house, click, 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 click. Hey, can you check this? Click, click, click. You know what I'm saying, right? These phone call stuff is going crazy, but in my head, I got it, like, right?
Yeah.
I had a call today about something. I'm like, it's fine. I'm like, I hope it's not them. But it's what I've known about myself the whole time. And I've been trying to get other people to see. I no longer have to prove.
It's a beautiful thing when you make the transition from outbound communication to inbound offers, inbound requests.
Or repeat clientele.
Oh, talk about it. I've been trying to get people on retainer clients for a long time. Yeah. Stop thinking about how you can do one thing amazing. Think about how you can spread that out over a period of time.
It's a breath of fresh air.
It's so nice.
It's a breath of fresh, and it's like when I think, and if you have the wrong audience sometimes, but I don't say the wrong audience again, it's being, let me say that wrong. If you have, the fit is off, right? Or what your personal goals are and what your audience may be able to provide, being other businesses or people. Because you can do an online course, but they didn't tell you about how they want to change the algorithm for Facebook and Instagram a couple years ago. Now your ad's not even adding.
Yeah.
Right? People were killing it online.
Yeah.
And then boom.
Yeah.
So then you had the cocoa, and then you had the ads change, and then boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
So many people have gone out of business, right? Yeah. But there's something different about showing up in a space where you finally got it right. And it's no love lost to anybody before.
Yeah.
Thank you to every person who has ever supported me, right, to getting me here. But I can't keep hitting the brick wall and not being willing to change or do something different and blame them.
Yeah.
It's just not a good fit. It's not working right now.
Yeah.
But there is something incredible, divine even, about being a Black, and I'm a supplier.
Yeah.
And I supply for the government, right? To say I'm good.
Yeah.
That I'm not sitting up like, oh my gosh, they didn't come through. Oh, they changed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
To know that in spite of what but I'm still a speaker. I'm still using my voice. But now I can go, depending on where it is and what it is, and just go sit on the panel.
Yeah.
And enjoy it without, what my money?
Right. Like if I don't get paid for this, like,
yeah, I can make it for this, right? Yeah, I can do that. But there's the value. But I've known I'm valuable.
Yeah.
But who sees it?
Yeah.
Who's gonna make it happen? But then this thing, now I'm valuable and I ain't gotta show up and be on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? I can do what I do, but I get to go to these meetings and meet these wonderful people.
Yeah.
And share these things that I have, right?
Yeah.
And to see people, no kidding, look at me and say, I've been looking for you. You've been looking for me?
Yeah.
yeah, I need this, and this. I told you somebody reached out to me. I'm looking for this, and I'm going to need 100 of this, 100 mugs for clients for Christmas gifts.
Yeah.
Can you quote me on that? And you've been following me?
Yeah. Sometimes you'll be surprised how many people follow you, don't say a doggone word. Won't say a doggone word. They're just waiting for the right time that they can reach out to you.
But I never would even consider realtors, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And then now real estate companies. So now it's bigger than higher education.
Yeah.
It's real estate. It's Parks and Rec. It's offices of diversity for cities.
Yeah.
Right? Boys and girls clubs. It's the limits, the boundaries.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They don't exist like they used to.
Yeah.
So it's nice.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to change it. Switch it up.
Yeah.
If that's what's necessary.
Yeah.
Because if that's what's necessary, because, and I'm gonna wrap up with this because I'm feeling real way about this, right? But really though, we're not making it because we're not willing to change always.
Yeah.
We're not willing to do what it takes. Just can't quit.
Yeah.
Can't quit. But what is it worth to you to be on this journey, to make this thing happen, to do this thing, and to say, I'm not going nowhere. I'll switch it up, but I refuse to quit.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna quit.
Yeah. Sometimes it's simply saying, like, when you have new expenses or, a new goal you want to achieve, instead of saying, like, how can I do something differently, and say, like, how can I make more money? Yeah.
And then we don't spend money, we circulate it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I feel free. And I'm an Aquarius. Right?
I also am an Aquarius, so maybe this is what
So freedom is it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got it now.
Yeah.
It's gonna require some work.
Yeah.
I got it now.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna change the game.
Yeah.
Because I'm a Black woman in this space, but there's still not too many of us. Not at all.
Yeah.
And thank you for this. Because I'm like, it's being here now. You're getting the first interview with me in this space.
I love it.
With these two endeavors and the change in the story.
Yeah.
Nobody else has gotten it. It's not even my podcast. So
yeah.
But
I love that. You're the second Black woman I've had on the show who's like, I'm talking about stuff I ain't never said before.
Never.
And she also she's not new.
Yeah. I've been scared too though.
Yeah.
Am I ready? Am I gonna hurt some feelings? I'm gonna say some things that's wrong. It's my lived experience and I gotta help somebody.
Yeah.
But it's okay, because I ain't talking that shit or whatever, right? But I am saying this is a reality for me.
Yeah.
And this is what I've been through.
Yeah.
And I'm okay. Like I'm okay. Because I haven't failed.
Yeah.
But I hadn't been where I wanted to be. And everybody claps. But they don't know what you're going through.
No. Because nobody posts about that. That's another thing. Sometimes I have to take breaks because I know, like, I'm seeing all this good stuff and I'm like, maybe I'm going through a rough time or I have a lot on my mind. I'm just like, nobody's talking about what I'm thinking about. Yeah. And I can't keep, like, accepting that this is all they think about either, because I know this isn't reality and I need to, like, go be in real time a little bit. And really, when I get that feeling, it's like, I'm a pen and paper. I'm old school in that way.
Yeah, me too.
And I write down, I'm like, what did I actually accomplish this month? Yeah. And then you start thinking, like, I need to sit down. Like, I need to relax. I need to give myself some grace. Yeah. In this thing. Yeah. But
it's real.
Yeah.
But we're here.
Yeah.
And again, those who win are those who refuse to quit.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But this is dope, because I know now that for who I know I'm most destined to become, because I can talk honestly about what I've been through. Yeah. I'm no longer afraid of her. Yeah. No longer afraid of what's real. Because me saying, well, people not paying, or people reaching out and they saying no, and it's my real ass experience.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
But I'm here. And I'm going to keep going there.
Yeah.
And I've had people say, every time I look up, you winning. I said, am I?
Keep looking out there, because I need to keep winning.
Right? Yeah. But finally, because y'all don't know the losses I've taken over and over and over and over again. Yeah. So if you see me winning now, it's because I've worked to win. Yeah. And that don't mean I'm going to always win, because there's going to be some things. Yeah. But I have been in this almost a decade trying to figure it out, tweak it, move it. And I had to change what I almost feel like my existence to finally win. But it's not changing my existence, it's stepping into my space as a true entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Who's determined.
Yeah.
And being willing to find joy in what I'm doing. May not be the thing I'm most passionate about, I'm gonna be honest with you, but I really enjoy it. Like I really enjoy it. And it's good for me.
Yeah, and that's good. I think too, like, there has to be a balance between like knowing what you're good at and only focusing on the things that make you happy. Because there's some things about this entrepreneur stuff that don't make me happy. All these doggone emails. That does not make me happy. You know? But it's a part of it. You know what I'm saying? I got to do that in order to get to the good stuff. So that's
but
just
you get to the good stuff, and then it's good. And you're like, but I did that.
Yeah.
That's mine. That's all me.
Yeah.
It's a gift and a challenge, but it's all you.
It is.
Nobody else. That's your name on that.
Yeah.
That's your legacy.
Yeah.
And if anything, that's why I did my businesses the way I did. Evinerlean Worldwide and Blakney Global Solutions.
Yeah.
Evingerlean Blakney.
Yeah.
Men do it all the time.
Yeah. I had to take my name off my business, my first one.
Yeah.
I took it off.
Yeah.
For a lot of reasons, but I did start with my name on my business, though.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Well, the very, very first that I had, the Purpose Professor, I dissolved it.
Yeah.
Been through some things.
That's a good alliteration, but yeah, sometimes it just...
But I had to. Yeah. Life happened. Yeah. Life happened real big, and there was nothing I could do to come back from what happened. And I had to decide I'm going to keep going. Yeah. I'm going to quit. Then I was like, the next one, Evinerlean Worldwide. Go big. Yeah. And then one, Blakney Global Solutions. And that was talking to a couple friends, and oh, this has a ring. I'm like, who does it? But I want to honor where I've come from, that first gen thing, right? Yeah. But this one feels more right. But under, like Evinerlean Worldwide are the 3 brands that I have, so it's more, it's a lot. But Angela, when you know. Yeah. And I'm going for legend.
I see.
I'm going for legend. Yeah. There's no point in living and not living and living well and living big. But what's big to me, I know what that looks like. Yeah. But something I want to leave behind. But now I can really do that. So yeah. Yes.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today. I really, really appreciate it. I'm so excited to see where you grow. If it's only been 4 months, I'm excited to see you in a year.
Thank you. Me too. Thank you. Speaking of, but thank you for that.
That's all for today's episode. And if you can't wait for the next episode, you can subscribe to our paid membership on Substack to get exclusive content like outtakes, bloopers, after-show thoughts, and more. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to give us a 5-star rating on your app of choice or like this video on YouTube. We'll catch you in the next episode.